She ain't even seem to care about shit.
A complete sociopath. She's very good at faking humanity and faking care. Which is part of the reason why
I'm starting to wonder about her as a person. Was she in Gone Girl?
Yes.
Yeah, see, man, people like her scare me. Right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cinecism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Netflix original movie, I Care a Lot. Do you now?
Quite the contrary. She doesn't care at all. This movie is about a couple of, I guess, scammers who go around forcing older folks into these elderly care facilities against their will, even though they seem to be fully functional and competent enough to take care of themselves. It's basically to make money off of these people. She takes over their accounts and anything that is worth any value to them, sells or pawns off their valuables to make money from it. She's like one of the worst types of scammers.
What a piece of shit. It's crazy. The hustle is crazy because she becomes their legal guardian. It's all legal. This ain't just like one of your run-of-the-mill scams. There's a lot of legality tied into this. This is court ordered. They have no say-so over their life. She gets complete control of their money. She gets complete control of their medication. So she can keep them sedated and pretty much out of it while she robs them blind.
The problem comes into play when she becomes a legal guardian of a woman who she thinks is a helpless old woman. Her son gets involved when he finds out that they've taken her against her will. The movie focuses on them going against each other to try to come to some kind of a agreement.
Now, this is pretty much an exaggerated version of this scam, of this scenario.
Let's talk about Marla.
Okay.
Because damn, man, I wanted to see some kind of humanity in her, but it just wasn't there, man. It's like all in her facial expressions, her delivery. It's like, man, she crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, she's a very stubborn, strong-willed woman who refuses to back down even when her life is clearly in danger. It's like she got some kind of pride or something, or something to prove. Like, man, you need to stop,
right?
Before you get everybody killed.
You don't really get a lot of her backstory in this. Clearly, she has two issues. One of them is in which being bullied by people. She kept saying she wasn't scared of people, and she's been threatened so many times. So she clearly has some type of chip on her shoulder because of that. Maybe. And she also has some type of chip on her shoulder in regards to her finances. Because she was like, look, I ain't going to be broke. I can't be poor. I ain't never going to be poor again. I'm like, oh, all right. But it's like, what the fuck?
She's in another relationship with Fran. She seems to be a little bit more level-headed, but it ain't by much.
I was about to say, like, they try to make her seem like the more human of the two. Yeah. But the truth is, she was just trying to save her own skin.
Exactly.
The only time that she even cared or developed a quote-unquote moral conscience was when her life was in jeopardy. But she was perfectly fine running these scams and doing the same thing that Marla was doing. So she ain't no better. She's running a very lucrative practice, a very lucrative business practice. Like this bitch official doing a lawyer or something.
Scammers and scammers.
She's running a very official and lucrative scamming process. She got like 100 people on her wall.
Yeah, she got a whole faculty, man.
She got an office. It's a real business. And more than that, she's also hooked in with doctors. She hooked in with the people at this care facility. She's hooked in with lawyers, judges. It's just
all these people on her payroll.
It's crazy, man. The way they was talking about these old people.
Yeah, like they was just
cards,
like items.
I'll take Jenny and we'll just move Robert over to 201. And it's like, yo, that's a whole man.
It's just kind of scary to think about, especially if you have like older people in your family, just to kind of, not to say this is exactly what goes on. I don't think it's far-fetched.
Oh, no, not at all.
People taking advantage of, the elderly.
This is an exaggerated version, but this type of stuff happens all the time. Like even with your family members, sometimes it's not a stranger. It's somebody that's close to you that does stuff like this. But yeah, man, people develop dementia or health problems in their old age, and people see that as an opportunity. They get Social Security and shit like that, and people take full advantage. It's completely not right.
Roman, played by Peter Dinklage, some kind of crime boss or something, whose mother gets taken in by Marla. He's out to free his mom throughout the whole movie. He sent people to talk to her and try to coax her into releasing his mom, and they were going to pay her a pretty nice amount of money, but because of how stubborn she is, of course, she said no.
You keep saying stubborn. That is part of it. She was also extremely greedy too.
Well, yeah.
It's like she didn't want to take they offered her $300,000 just to release this woman. She keeps
just one person.
Just one. She has hundreds of people.
This had no impact on on her business at all. What do you think of Peter Dinklage in that role?
Let me tell you, man, Peter Dinklage is one of the best actors you're going to ever see in your entire life because his presence is so much bigger than his stature. He just exudes this presence that he just don't play. And plus, he got that very booming and commanding voice. He did a great job in this because he's not really supposed to play this just completely heartless guy. He wants his mom back. He don't really want to go there. He's a businessman at the end of the day. He's built a life for himself through crime, but he's sitting comfortable, right? He don't want to get himself out there, put himself in no position to fuck his money up. But at the same time, he's like, all right, I gotta send the shooters because she won't listen to reason. So he did a great job at conveying that too. Like just as like, this bitch, gotta make me really go out here and be gangster. For all intents and purposes, in my opinion, he was the hero of this movie. I know that they tried to paint him as the villain. Marla was the villain, in my opinion.
Yeah, she was.
He was just a nigga trying to get his mom back. Now, granted, he worked for the mafia, but at the same time, I identify more with his plight than hers.
This ain't really a key moment. More of just a takeaway for me, how much disdain I have for Rosamund Pike's character in this movie, because she just kept pissing me off. She would not take heed to anything. She was getting people killed, getting people hurt, and she just kept on pressing forward. It just pissed me off. That's why I say stubborn, because at that point, it wasn't even about the money to her no more. She was just way too strong-willed, and it was just really it was annoying the shit out of me, because it's like, how unreasonable can you be?
Right, and what was like...
You got the doctor killed, you got your girlfriend beat up.
Plus the people at the old facility
got them killed.
Got sprayed up. Yeah, that was like for what though?
Yeah, sociopath is right.
Yeah.
He had no regard for any human life.
The thing that really pissed me off about this movie, and when I finally gave up, she never really quite got her comeuppance, and they tried to shoehorn it in at the end, but I'm like, bro, at this point, she done won too much, but she kept winning in court. And then when Peter Dinklage decided to make a business deal with her, like, I understand where he was coming from like I said, he seemed to be more of a businessman. For this movie, like, fuck that. Like, fuck her. I'm not here for that at all. I didn't feel good about this, but I did not want her to swim to the surface when she got in the car. I was like, man, I guess she could just die here and maybe the girl wouldn't be okay.
That would have been a suitable death.
I was not okay with that at all. And then when she came back to the house and her girlfriend was still alive too, I was like, oh no, somebody need to be dead. Yeah. That was the part that was pissing me off the most, was the lack of consequences.
Man, these are professionals, man. They should have. How did she survive that? Don't y'all do this, man. Y'all, it should have been no way for her to have survived that attempt on her life.
Like what you said, bro, these are professional hitters. Like, the woman came and got her in the parking lot with a dart, for God's sake. Y'all ain't gonna hit her with a dart right now? Right. Then they rolled up on Peter Dinklage. Come on, man. Drug that man.
Oh, yeah.
These are not... I'm like, hold up, wait. All right, is this the Bourne Identity? These are regular citizens, correct? How y'all know how to do all this?
Didn't they leave that man naked in the street?
Yeah.
Could you imagine rolling up and seeing that? You on your morning run and you see that? What would you do?
I'd get on my phone immediately like what old boy did, but you know
what would you say?
Hey, it's a naked dwarf of some kind on the road here. I don't know what that's about, but y'all might need to get out this bit. Like you said, this is probably one of the worst scams you could ever do, because you really impacting and bleeding people dry. And it's a continuous crime. You know, somebody rob you, it's like a momentary crime. Like, it happens, but it's over. This is like a continuous robbery every day of your life. It's unfortunate, man, when people take advantage of the elderly like this. And if all it takes is a doctor sign off for somebody to just come and appear in court on your behalf and say you unfit, and just pull up to your house and be like, yep, the court ruled, said I'm your guardian. Like, that was wild. When they just came to her house,
yeah, shit like that,
yeah, I'm your guardian. So
more heavily evaluated. People often confuse legality with like morality. Mm-hmm. Like, just because something is legal doesn't mean that it's morally right. It's a lot of shit that used to be legal and it's currently legal that is not good. Like, slavery was legal. Like, what are you talking about? So I Care a Lot. It was a pretty good watch. It was some things that frustrated me in this movie, though, specifically the main character. The plot of the movie was pretty good. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I really enjoyed this movie. I hated the concept. I hated really all of the characters, if that makes any sense. But it's just a really well acted, very well well entertaining movie. This was a fictional story. These type of things happen a lot. And I think they were trying to bring some type of satire awareness to that topic. Characters are pretty funny, and I think everybody did a great job. I also didn't feel satisfied with the way that her life turned out. If a movie like this has this type of messaging in it, or it has this type of scenario, I'd be wondering, what is the message? But you can scam the elderly and still get to the bag.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
But you might not be. Who knows? Try it.
Overall, I'm gonna give this a 7. Definitely a movie worth checking out. Just set your piss off meters to stun, because this movie gonna get under your skin. If you got any type of humanity, it's gonna piss you off for sure.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to our review of I Care a Lot, the Netflix original. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews that you'd like to see for any movies or a series or any upcoming trailers, don't forget to drop a comment below.
If you guys have seen I Care a Lot, please let us know what you thought about the movie. How do you feel about the overall messaging? What did you think of the characters? I'm sure you hated them like we did, because who the fuck wouldn't? Just tell us what you thought of this movie, the concept, and the acting, everything. We want to hear about it. We appreciate y'all, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.